Welcome back to another episode of Marcel, Hyde, Mindset. Remember, click that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you are finding any type of value from these videos that I produce on a weekly basis, make sure that you're sharing it to a family member, a friend, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, just someone that you think could just benefit from these videos. I always love it when people send me videos that really touch my heart and my soul. And, maybe I'm having a down day and I receive a video from someone and then it just inspires me to, keep going, or inspires me to get up and figure something out because, sometimes things in life can become discouraging, right? You're not getting the results you want. You've been doing that thing for years. Nothing has come yet. And it's hard to stay patient. I'll be the first person to admit it. It's very hard to stay patient because you want the results right now. You want to be in that luxury home right now. You want to be driving that luxury car right now, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of time. And if you see people that have, those luxury things or the things that they want, it took them time to acquire. Majority of people aren't just walking into millions of dollars, or most people are not just rich. Most people are first generation wealth. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to just walk into wealth. So look at the few people that have what you want and compare yourself to them because, not all of them were just given that nice vehicle. Most of them had to work for it. A lot of people have this delusional thought that, the people that have money were just given money, or the people that have money, it just magically happened for them without realizing that it probably took them a lot. It did, not probably. It took them a lot of time, effort, energy, failures, ups, downs, twists, turns. I always say that every video, right? What it takes to really, become successful is not just a smooth road, right? It's not a road that has just been paved, right? It's a road that maybe has been driven on for 50, 65 years and it's bumpy. There's potholes. Your tire might pop. You might have to replace your tire. So get used to it. And I always say, just enjoy that bumpy road. When the road's bumpy, maybe you're sleeping on a hard mattress. It's not going to be like that forever, but use these times as fuel, as motivation to get you up, to get going, right? Let's enjoy it. Just smile, laugh at that process that you're going through. All right. So today I want to talk about risk and just the fact that I'm learning that everything in life is a risk. Because I just think of it like I park my car, I may leave it for the whole day, and I'm hoping that no one nicks it. Last week, I was in a parking lot and I came out of my car and I was going to grab groceries. And as I'm going to grab the groceries, I see a young man in front of his car. The whole front bumper is taken off. It's at least $1,000 minimum, $2,000 job. Someone hit his vehicle and ran. So in my mind, innocent person parks the vehicle and gets hit. So it's a risk to even park your car and go into the grocery store. So my thing is, don't be afraid to take risks, because at the end of the day, life itself is a big risk. We don't know. We can leave our home today and God forbid we don't make it back that day. You could go to bed tonight and you may not wake up. So life itself is a risk. Everything in life is a risk. You could go to a job, have an employer. They come to you one day and say to you, and you've been there for 20, 25 years, that the job will no longer exist in 6 months. So you took a risk by not looking for another job. You took a risk by believing that you're going to be at that company until you retire. That's a risk. Or you start a business. There's no certainty in this business. You don't know when the next client will come, or there's no telling what your revenue is going to be that first year you start the business, but it's a risk. So everything in life is a risk. Or you get into a relationship with someone and you decide, I'm going to commit to this person. This is my boyfriend, or this is my girlfriend, or this is my husband, or this is my wife. And then they cheat on you. But you took that risk to marry that person. You took that risk to date that person. So life itself is a risk. Do not be afraid to take that risk. Because let's say your job comes to you and they say the job's ending in 6 months. Well, that's a risk that you took. But at the end of the day, what you could do about that is look for a new job. What you could do about that is connect with your network. See what opportunities that your network has. Who in your network knows someone that can help you find a job in the field that you've been in for 25 years, or who Or it could be an opportunity to start a new career, or it could be an opportunity to become a consultant in the career that you've been in for the last 20, 25 years. So life itself is a risk. Or, you date that individual and it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and then within a year they cheat on you, and then you break up. And that was a risk, but at the end of the day, you know not to marry that person. So yeah, there's risk in life, but there's also positives from taking a risk. Me creating a YouTube channel is a risk. It's a big risk, because what's the percentage of people that actually make it on YouTube? What's the percentage of people that actually blow? It's very low. It's a very low percentage, but I've decided to take the risk. And the reason I've decided to take the risk is because if I don't risk it, if I don't try it, if I don't create videos, then I'll never know if this channel could have blown. I'll never know. But if I actually shoot videos, I give my best effort, I try to develop and then produce content, I try to learn the YouTube algorithm, I try to understand YouTube, I try to understand the platform, I do what it takes to stay consistent, then at the end of the day, this thing could blow, become this ultimate YouTuber. Then I have a YouTube channel, then I'm doing my own online business. Like, there's so many opportunities, but if I don't, I don't want to repeat the point over, but if I don't do it, I just will never know, right? So I'd rather take the risk and see. That way, 10, 15 years, I can live with myself and be like, you know what? I shot my shot and I missed. Or I shot my shot and I hit. And now look at me. I changed my life entirely. So I rather take the risk to see if there's anything there, if there's potential, if something could happen, as opposed to just sit back and be like, it's too hard. Most people don't make it. It's nearly impossible. Well, how do I know that if I don't try it? I can live with myself long term if I was like, you know what? I gave it my all and I just didn't make it. I played basketball. Growing up, I was an athlete. And, I don't have any regrets from that chapter in my life of playing basketball, training, spending all my time. Because at the end of the day, the person I become or became from that experience is actually helping me in life today. But that was a risk in itself too. To train every day, to go to camps, to be a part of these teams, to pay money. Because at the end of the day, there's no guarantees that you're going to play pro. There's no guarantees at the end of it you're going to get, a paycheck from a team. You're going to make the NBA, because the NBA is a very small percentage. What percent? 0 point something percent of athletes actually make the NBA. So it's just like, you're taking a huge risk. But at the end of the day, there's so much I got from that. So although it was a risk, I still benefited from playing that sport. I still benefited from training. I still benefited from trying to become the best basketball player that I can become. So it's not a waste of time by any means. It's a benefit in so many different ways, in so many different aspects. It has helped my life, right? So life in itself is a risk. Don't be afraid to take a risk. At the end of the day, you can always recover if you take a risk. If you don't take a risk and you just live in fear your whole life, you're just going to go through life, and then eventually you're going to pass away, or you're going to get to your older ages and you're just going to ask yourself, why didn't I try this? Why didn't I try that? What was I afraid of? And you're going to really ask yourself, you're going to laugh. You're going to say, what was I really afraid of? All that fear I had wasn't even real. It was just me in my own head and my own mind stopping myself. Right? So don't be that person. Don't be that individual. Is there something that you wanting to start and you're like, oh, it's a risk? Everything in life is a risk. Living is a risk. Like I said earlier, parking your vehicle and leaving it is a risk. Every day is a risk. Having a job is a risk. Running a business is a risk. Everything in this life is a risk. So do not be afraid to take a risk, but I will preface it by saying, take calculated risk, okay? If you've never played basketball and you're 25, you're like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to train for a year and expect to go to the NBA, then that's not a calculated risk. Or there's so many different examples you could think in your head, right? I don't want to go on and on and on, but I just want to remind you guys, life is a risk. Don't forget that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you're finding any type of value from these videos that I'm producing, again, make sure you share it to a friend, a family member, just someone that can benefit from this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace and love. Marcel, Hyde, Mindset.